Welcome to another one of our sessions from our series to get corporate ready in 14 days. Ever notice that some people seem to deal with stressful situations better than other people? That some people seem to get over bad events quickly and just move on? Or where one person might have a sleepless night, another's just not that bothered? Today, we're talking about resilience. What is it? Well, it's about being able to thrive in a complex and turbulent world where change is fast, lives are busy, and we're spinning many different plates in our lives. It's about being able to bounce back. Before you can have a chance at bouncing back or dealing with stress, you need to know what's going on with your body and your brain. The human body has one top priority: to survive, right? And in the past, if we ignored physical threats or we were slow to react to them, simply, we died. As humans, we've got a highly developed prefrontal cortex. Now that's the part of the brain that's responsible for decision making and problem solving. It's good at thinking things through and processing information. But if you're suddenly confronted by a predator, thinking things through takes vital seconds, which can be the difference between surviving or being lunch. So we needed something else, something to make our reactions quicker and increase our chance of survival. So in our next software update, Mother Nature decided to give us something for an automatic and immediate reaction to threats: the amygdala. Now this is a small part of the brain that works as a watchdog. And this watchdog has a paw hovering just above a panic button. It's constantly watching and waiting. So on the lookout, when there's any sign of a threat, bang, it hits that panic button to start a whole sequence of survival reactions. Now we know that dogs come in different shapes and sizes. Some of them are laid back, chilled out, maybe a bit lazy. Others can be excitable, maybe a bit trigger happy. You know, where you're thinking to yourself, quit hitting that panic button. So have a think about it. What do you think your inner watchdog is like? Does it hit the panic button too easily, and does it need a bit more training? So what happens when you hit the button, when the amygdala triggers a stress reaction? Well, here are some things that you might notice in your stress reaction. Have a look at these and think about which ones you experience. For me, I get a bit of sleeplessness, I want to eat more sugar, I get a bit fatigued. If I'm honest, probably get a bit irritable as well. But these are the symptoms, and here's what's actually going on. There's an automatic part of your nervous system which does all the things that you don't need to think about, like regulating your heart rate, your breathing, your digestion. And yes, it includes the amygdala, your ever-present and ever-vigilant guard dog. And when he presses that panic button, this releases lots of hormones into the blood, including cortisol and adrenaline. Now, cortisol thickens your blood. Why on earth would it do that? Well, these physical threats could often lead to injury, so thicker blood clots quicker and you're less likely to bleed to death. That's great, but it's also more difficult to pump thick blood around your body. Your heart has to work much harder, and it's putting an increased strain on your heart. This thicker blood also means that your heart can pump fewer resources around that prefrontal cortex I mentioned. So it's more difficult to remember things, to think things through, and to make good decisions. Your mind has literally gone blank. So that last time you felt really angry, did you say or do something stupid, and when your brain's fully operational again, you can't believe you did that? Or you walk away from a confrontation, replaying the conversation in your mind, thinking of all the clever responses that you should have given instead. What else is going on? Well, blood and oxygen are sent straight to the muscles to prepare you to fight the physical threat or run away. You'll actually be stronger. But this is at the expense of things that you don't need in a fight, things like your digestion or your immune system. This was all great for our ancestors who faced many more physical threats than we do. It's designed to be a short-term response for immediate survival. So what's that got to do with 21st century living? Well, to be honest, we're due another software update from Mother Nature because we react to social threats in the very same way as we do to physical threats. Our guard dog hits the panic button when we're asked to do a presentation at work. And that's just when you need your thinking brain the most. but it also reacts this way to things like uncertainty, feeling a lack of control, being undermined by somebody, being treated unfairly, or when we feel that sense of lack of belonging or being part of a social group. Do any of these sound familiar to you in your life? It can even be your own internal, irrational thoughts that set the guard dog off. We catastrophize situations, looking at all the what ifs until we're terrified. And what this means is we're in a constant state of readiness for action. You're all pumped up with resources in your muscles, not your brains, not your digestive system, not your immune system. They're not getting the resources that they need. You can't think straight, you can't make decisions, you're not sleeping well, or you want quick sugary fuel. Our ancestors experienced this to deal with an immediate physical threat. But nowadays, you can be in this constant state for hours, days, even weeks. And that's what stress is. So what can you do to help you deal with this? As well as your guard dog, you also have your inner yogi. They're responsible for the opposite reaction, the rest and recovery. Your yogi reduces your heart rate back down again, it relaxes your blood vessels and your muscles, and it flushes out those hormones. It's responsible for bringing your body back to its equilibrium. So what we're going to look at now is how you can activate that inner yogi, also known as the parasympathetic nervous system. Now, there are some things that you can do that seem to help with stress, but don't be fooled. Alcohol being one of them, it seems to quieten down that guard dog, even sends it to sleep. So we're free to do whatever we like with nobody there to press that panic button. Sounds nice, huh? But where it gives, it takes much more. Your health, your ability to function properly, your money, sometimes even the relationships which are there to help support you and help you with your resilience. Nicotine, caffeine, sugar, drugs, don't be fooled. They're not helping you to adapt to the world around you and deal with the stress. They're instant fixes and they're only for the short term. So here are 6 adaptive ways to deal with stress. Now, you might not want to hear this, but exercise really works. Those hormones have you in a constant state of readiness for fight or flight. So burn them up, flush them out. But make that exercise something that works for you, something realistic. So that might be going for a walk or taking the stairs instead of the lift. But hit the gym or play a sport if that's more your bag. But make sure you get up and get moving to burn up some of that nervous energy. Nutrition is also something that helps, so make conscious decisions about what you eat and what you drink. Avoid caffeine, sugar, and foods with high calories but low nutrition, junk food. And remain hydrated with plenty of water. Now, we're lucky that we have a real expert in our close network who's an expert on nutrition. You wouldn't believe what she knows about the link between diet and health and your personal resilience. So let us know in the comments below if you'd like more on this, or see some of our suggested reading in the description below. Good sleep is also vital for good health and resilience. Keep a routine. If you've had a bad night's sleep, avoid napping the next day and try to go to bed at the same time as you usually do. Also, keep your bedroom for sleeping. Put your phone, put your tablet away. And if something's worrying you and it wakes you up in the night, write it down. Your subconscious will rest much easier knowing that it doesn't need to remember or think the issue through right now. And we put a recommended book on this in the description below. It's called Tired But Wired. Gain perspective. And one way that works for me is to think about what was really worrying me 2 years ago. Often I can't even remember. And then I ask myself, what am I going to think about this current problem when I look back in 2 years' time? That seems to take away some of the weight of the stress. Make connections. Accepting help from people who care about you and will listen strengthens your resilience. Who's your rock? And that works both ways. Helping other people when they need it can also benefit the helper. Finally, maintain an optimistic outlook. What exactly are you telling yourself through your inner language? Recognize that setbacks, they're temporary, something to overcome rather than just being your typical luck. So catch yourself when you're catastrophizing things. When you're worrying about all the things that could possibly go wrong. Silence this. Start thinking about all the things that could possibly go right. So that's our 6 ways to develop personal resilience, but just knowing what's going on in your body can help. Remember, you've got a guard dog waiting to press that panic button. Tell it to stand down sometimes, and let your inner yogi take over with some mindfulness or positive responses for adapting to the world around you. And try some of our 6 steps and let us know how you get on. So thanks for watching this video. Let us know if there's any other areas that you'd like more content on. We love hearing from you guys, so any comments or suggestions, don't forget to post them below. And make sure you subscribe to our channel to keep up to date with our next videos. It's a quick and simple way to really transform your career. So what we're going to look at now is how you can activate your inner yogi, and I forgot, was I going to say this? There's an automatic part of your nervous system which does all the things that you don't have to think about, like regulating your heart rate. All right, come on, you're going to go to your bed, Skip. Your breathing, your digestion, and yes, that includes the amygdala, your ever vigilant guard dog. Sorry, I've got my guard dog down here. Includes the amygdala, your ever present. Why are you going so far?
I'm not going
far. It's gone. It's off the screen. Really?